What's going on, everybody? This is Bohemia Tech Talk. This is, I say this is episode 3 of Bohemia Tech Talk, official episode 3. Um, this is your host, Mike B, Mike Baker, Mike, you know. And with me is my co-host, Mike Bennett. What's going on, bro? How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. Just hanging in there. Just glad hitting the. Let me see. Take this off, man.
Get
my Superman
on.
Oh yeah, I was. I was about to say, let me get my Superman on. I take my, I'm Clark Kent looking mad goofy with them, but now that I'm off, Yeah, but other than that though, I'm doing good, man. We hanging tough, so
good.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, man. This is always it's always good to get on the mic and do the thing. I mean, I'm trying to get back into the routine myself, changing jobs and all the stuff going on. Man, just a lot.
You helping your peoples build a house over there, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how that's gonna happen for real. Like, I don't know. It's a thing. It's a deal. It's a big project. Like, all it is putting up drywall, but it should seem like it's a years long project. Especially when you're not a construction worker, that's when you just should leave it to pros, but you don't want to. You want to try yourself, DIY. That's when it's a problem.
Like, I ain't no bricklayer, but I know how to lay bricks though.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds simple, so But for the show, everybody that know the show, this is the Bohemia Tech Talk. We talk about tech topics. First topic that I'm gonna run through the list of the topics that we're gonna talk about. Then I'm gonna just jump through it because I got them in a weird order here. So topic 1 that we're gonna be talking about is gonna be titled "Nobody Really Won That Battle Royale" between Battle and Fortnite. That's a Gizmodo article. Actually, it looked like it's Gizmodo Australia. So we see what them boys down under talking about.
Aussie boys like.
Yeah, man. Next article we got is going to be China's Microsoft hack may have had a bigger purpose than just spying. It's happened like maybe back in August, but we're going to talk about it. I'm sure they fixed the hack already, but we're going to talk about it a little bit in a bit of detail. The next topic that we have is Microsoft and Google's in 6-year truce on legal battles, which that was bound to happen. Next thing is Google is phasing out the Android Auto app, but an alternative is pretty good. I haven't had a chance to use Android Auto. I just hook it up through the auxiliary cord. That's the best way for it. Next thing is going to be Google takes giant step toward powering blockchain-based Web3. We'll just go into that. The next one is all Verizon Android phones will support RCS messaging by 2022. Yeah, they've been talking about that shit for since 2016.
I'm about to say since 2000.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, we'll go into it, but it's supposed to be like the kill of the iMessages, and we've been talking about since iMessage came out. Last one that we're going to talk about, we got this 2. They're kind of the same thing. Is Facebook Smart Glass can take calls and photos, but it lacks AR, which is augmented reality. And then at the same time that they released Google Smart Glasses or Facebook Smart Glasses, Xiaomi, which is the Chinese company, unveils their smart glasses, which claims to replace the smartphone in general. And when you look at this, they actually got a little AR thing in the screen. So we'll go over that a little bit. But let's get into these topics. Like I said, first one is from Gizmodo, and they are talking about how nobody actually really won that battle between Epic Games and Apple. If you haven't heard about it, basically the deal is that every app that comes through the App Store for iOS if they want to actually make purchases on it, if they got something for sale, Apple has to take 30% off the top.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's been. It is. And Fortnite didn't like that. And as of this court case, it technically is gone. It's technically not a thing anymore where Apple can't like actually use their app store power to stop you. So like the big issue was that like Epic was they wanted to be able to make microtransactions for Fortnite. People play a lot of Fortnite everywhere on all the consoles and on the mobiles, in particular on Apple, on the iPhone. And they had those microtransactions, and then Apple was going to be able to take 30% off of every one of those microtransactions that Epic Games made, and Epic wasn't with that. So they basically sued. They kind of lost the case. It's the thing. Like they won it, but they lost it at the same time. Because
it's a weird situation.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I mean, at the base of it, it's just like Apple could still charge 30%, but they can't force other companies to go through their payment system. Like if Fortnite wants to do transactions, they can do them, and Apple can't necessarily. They can't deny them, which was the main thing, was that they kicked them out the App Store. The weird thing is that in this case, because Epic Games messed up with the terms of service before this ruling came into effect, Fortnite can't come back because they went against the terms of service before the terms of service change. So they won't win. I mean, Fortnite won't be coming back unless Apple, just wants to allow them back. But for everybody else in the future, all the other games, all the other transactions that can happen, now they can change their policy on transactions.
Exactly. I think that was the like you said, Mike, is that you outlined, and what it does, it seems like from what Fortnite, what Epic Games accomplished, they would be like symbolically the pioneer that has the arrows in their back, you know what I mean? Like blazing the trail. Whereas so now that, from this firefight that they was in with Apple, now everyone else knows like they're going to now implement that same process to be able to, I would say, find a workaround to still be able to, do their microtransactions without Apple having to, dip their hands and
right.
You know what I mean? They get that smooth 30%. But like you said, because, pretty much they in a way you can say that Epic kind of went about it like the gangster way, whereas though now that they on the ban list now, you know what I mean, from how they went about doing it, because they went their legal way. Right. Now everybody else, if they open the door for everybody else to know, okay, like this is how you're supposed to do it. So it's like it's a loss for Apple and Fortnite, but it's a win for everybody else, which is very it's an interesting turnout, because typically it doesn't work. I mean, whenever Apple put their lawyers on something, that's how they've been able to, I feel like, stand the test of time for so long, because with the indoctrination methods that they have to constantly siphon money from the people, they always have enough fundage to be able to throw their lawyers out there to to knock down anybody. Remember we had that article before where they had a little company. It was a little company that they said was supposedly using like their logo, or like, you remember we did that article. It was like a smaller company that had a pair or something like that for their logo, and Apple was like, nah, they threw their whole legal team on it. That I don't even know where that company is at, but that's how Apple goes about doing things. But because of how things rolled out this time, even the infamous Apple team, the legal team, couldn't stop what's going on. So now the doors is wide open. So I think Apple is in somewhat of a frenzy, because you're going to see that more often. I think Epic I forgot where how they do microtransactions. It's like through V-Bucks or something like that.
I think it's called V-Bucks.
Yeah. So everybody else, you got the Madden NFL on there. They're going to have Madden Bucks. You know what I mean? You're gonna have all type of
like, I mean, and part of it was like Spotify. They complained too, like they were trying to like back this situation. They were trying to be on Epic's side a little bit till they, till it kind of fell through the cracks. But like they complained as well because one of their issues was that 30% that they was getting charged with Apple, they had to tack that onto the fee for Spotify, which made Spotify cost
way more
than Apple Music, that don't have to put that extra 30% on because it's Apple. I mean, it's Apple already, so you ain't gotta have that 30%. But if you want to use Spotify, you got that 30%. So like now, in this scenario, Spotify can change their app now and allow people to buy straight direct without having to pay Apple for that 30%. I'm sure there's some stipulations, security things and stuff like that, because part of the whole, the grace of the App Store was that it's easy to access and it's easy to buy stuff. Now you got to put your card in the Spotify app. I mean, you got to put your card in whatever other app out there. You got to put them in that instead of just, putting it once in the App Store and then everything getting paid through the App Store. I mean, that's kind of appeal like Amazon.
I think that's probably the only disadvantage is that now that whoever comes on the Apple the platform, they have to have some type of functionality to directly enter their credit card information. To like they have the end user has to directly deal with that company now, which I mean it may pose some security risk. It may just be when it comes to the user experience, it may add an extra step that people may not want to deal with because
most of the big companies will get it. They'll deal with it. It's usually the user issue. Like if the user don't know that this ain't really Spotify, it's Spotify with an I at the end or something like that. Like they don't really know the difference. That's really when
Spotify with 2 T's.
Yeah, that's when it really become like a security risk, is when they don't know what they really put in their cards in. But yeah, man, let's go to the next topic. Games are going to be a lot cheaper. Apps are going to be cheaper or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know who wins or loses in this battle. I don't even think we win or lose in that Fortnite Apple battle. It's just over now.
It was a big ass skirmish. That's what it was.
It's just over. So like, we're going to move on to the next topic. Next topic that we have, I keep trying to look for in particular. I know it's NPR. This one is about, let me see if I can actually change my screen to it for a second so y'all can see this this article here. And from NPR, whatever. China's Microsoft hack may have had a bigger purpose than just spying. I'm gonna let you guys read it, go through the, details of this, because this one is particularly a long article. The basis of it was that Microsoft Exchange got hacked, which is news to everybody. Nobody really, everybody knows that Microsoft get hacked all the time. But it was, it was a Chinese hack. It had to do with Microsoft Exchange. And the article goes into the idea of how on-premise is a potential problem still in comparison to like Office 365, which this hack didn't have a vulnerability against because it's in the cloud, just different type of security layers to it. The big issue with this is that idea is like, how secure can we be in this modern age? Like, it's a lot of hacking going on in all directions.
Yeah.
You either can have a large team try to manage your stuff on-prem and keep failing, which is continuously keeps happening. Or you can have your stuff in the cloud and have it owned by somebody else, and it could work 90% of the time, but then it could also still fail again. It could fail in the cloud, and then that's a problem where it's where on-prem, you got the machines here, you can work on them here, you got your team here, you got all your issues, you can figure them out on your machines. When you got it in the cloud, it's only so far that you can go. You can do a lot. You can do a whole lot to build up your whole network environment, infrastructure, and all of that stuff. But if there's some type of power outage or something like that, then it becomes a security issue, or it becomes just a productivity issue. But if it's also like vulnerabilities, 0 days and stuff like that, when you got 0-day vulnerabilities, if you got it in the cloud, a company like Microsoft or Google or Amazon, they're not going to really let you know about cloud level vulnerabilities. They're just going to try to solve them and, say everything's good. Whereas
it was just a blip. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a little problem. We fixed it.
Yeah,
it shut everything down for 24 hours, took out a third of the internet.
Right. They joined that Thanos snap for a second.
But we figured it out. I mean, and that's the problem. Like, that's the duality that you deal with that security, like where you place your machines, all your data, and who's managing it. Where is it? How much do you trust the third parties versus having stuff in-house, on-prem in-house? That's the same concept. But then, like, security is a big thing. I just moved to working with a new company, and like we're in an exchange environment. I don't really like Exchange. I hate Exchange. I hate it. I hate Outlook. I hate all of it. And I mean, I tried to save an Excel spreadsheet with highlights in it, and no matter how many ways I saved it, the highlights weren't there. Like, I don't.
You're a Google guy, so yeah, you're going. Yeah. But at the same time, that goes to show that too with some of the design stuff. Because although I would say, whether it be depending upon what side you're on, it may affect you differently. But I'm more
freezing
of a Microsoft
a pane took
guy,
like 5 minutes, yo. It took me 5 minutes to figure out how to freeze a pane.
It's an adjustment. I think what it is that it goes back to what keeps Microsoft safe. Even when they have these things happen, they constantly getting hacked by China, right? Everybody, China's always just all over the place with something, either China or Russia, right? But Microsoft is like always like they like the punching bag for hackers, what I mean? So they constantly always getting. But I feel like because they have built such an infrastructure within the private sector as well as in the government, people will not lose so much trust in them because it's almost like they've created somewhat of a dependency there. Mm-hmm. And even like for instance, what you got going on now with your new job, Mike, is because you come into the environment, all this stuff is built on, all of the KT you need to have in order to understand stuff is all Microsoft. So it's just because of that, like you said, you just represent you're a microcosm of like what's actually happening all the time when it comes to how Microsoft deals with things and how they've just built a solid infrastructure to where even when they constantly are in the media for getting hacked or, like having vulnerabilities or something happens where, they're trying to force, their users to update and stuff like that. They can get off scot-free just because, we need them to some degree. Everybody isn't privy to, and maybe even some people feel uncomfortable with the fact that like with Google, things are done, like everything is in the cloud. All of the Google suite is in the cloud, right? And then, because people don't, for example, when I first came on and, we doing what we're doing as far as putting our topics together, I had to get used to hitting Alt-Enter in order to open up links. I'm like, well, I don't know why I got to keep doing this. But, coming from the Microsoft environment, that's where the discomfort may have come from. So I feel like from like an end user standpoint or like from end user to the company, Microsoft, they don't really worry too much because they feel like the people need them anyway. But this is big because I can only, if they're going to constantly get hacked, it's no telling what the hackers will try to do next time. It's just like after a while, this just gets fun. And, people, this is a general rule of thumb. Everybody, you do what you're allowed to do. You take it for as far as you can possibly take it. So if they like, man, they keep getting hacked, man, let me see what else I can steal. What else I can get up in there? That's when it starts to get dangerous because we have real times where things get shut down and, companies can't function just because Microsoft is kind of, they don't want to have that on. They don't want to have the proper security measures to prevent stuff like that from happening. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's that layer of abstraction, like having on-prem versus the cloud. It just mean another layer. Like Microsoft is like number 2 in the cloud right now. Like they killing it with Azure. And they slowly transitioning everybody into like the real Office 365, where everything is web-based through Edge and stuff like that. But it's a slow transition because they got so many people that are used to the desktop version of Office, and that's like the 90% of what keeps people in, like keeps it selling. It's just desktop version of Office. But that having Exchange, having the on-prem environment, that's that layer of abstraction where it's like, if you have security issues, you can deal with them in the cloud and then you push it out to everybody at once, versus if you have an issue on-prem, you got to go to everybody that bought a copy of that on-prem, and they all got to download it. Like if this vulnerability that happened, it happened to a company like Velocity or something like that. They got to go get the patch for first. They got to tell Microsoft, because it's one of those 0 days that nobody knows about. So they had to tell Microsoft. Microsoft has to fix it. Then they got to come back with the update, and then you got to get the update, and then you got to spread it out. So like all that time that's wasted.
It sounds so archaic, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you trying to compare that to, like, Google is cloud first, so they always have done stuff like cloud first. For Microsoft, a lot of the reasons that they just holding on to the old ways is just because they the old ways, the people that are still here needed to be done that way. It's good that they're building it out in two different ways, but a lot of the security issues is becoming problematic because they're trying to hold on to the old ways, and it's becoming security risks.
After a while, you gotta just decommission that whole legacy joint, man. Like, listen,
yeah.
They did it with Microsoft's Internet Explorer. Now I know some stuff is still out there.
I mean, it's
to that point where they just,
and that's
like,
the thing. Like, it's even Internet Explorer is still technically around, and they went through 2 versions of Edge. I mean, they had the new Edge and then the newer Edge.
And Microsoft Chrome. That's what
and Internet Explorer is still lingering around in the background like a ghost and shit. Like, like that's the thing. Like they just got to drop it at some point, and they, like, Apple don't have no problem telling people they can't use shit no more. They'd be like, yo, as of such and such 2022 is gone, and y'all just gonna have to deal with it.
This is the final update.
This is the final, and we letting you know. And like Microsoft, a lot of complaints have come from some third-party company that put like $100 million into Microsoft, and they'll be like, you know what? All right, we'll turn it back. I mean, but that's how they also the $2 trillion company by doing what people need them to do, for real. So, but let's go to this next article. Next article that we have is about Microsoft and Google ending its 6-year truce on legal battles. This has been a thing that you and me been talking about on and off. Like it feels like Microsoft and Google are like working together. It feels like they kind of doing the same things because, you know, they like friendly competition because, you know, Microsoft already had Office, and then Google comes out with their version of Google Docs, which inspires Microsoft to create Office 365. Google had Android, which is basically the mobile version of Microsoft. Microsoft copies a version of Android so that they can put on their new phone. They copy a version of Chrome so they can put on their new Windows. I mean, like the partnership seems like it was there, but it wasn't. You know, Google is always going to be number one with their search engines, but Bing is number 2 somewhere. I mean,
you know what it sounds like? Microsoft, with this whole thing that's been going on with Microsoft and Google, is that I liken it to, you know, 2 girls trying to figure out who's actually, you know, the side joint and who's the main joint, right?
Yeah,
and they both going back and forth. Like the end users are the guy, right? Like, you know, probably this comes off misogynist, whatever it is, you know. But still, you know, it's like we're the guy, and it's like they're going back and forth, and so they have their times where they like each other, they high five, and then there's times where they don't like each other because, you know, the guy us shows more time over here than, you know, over there, and it's like it sounds like they finally came to the conclusion, like, all right, we both love them, and we just gonna have to get in where we fit in.
I would say I would use your analogy and say it's two girls and two guys. I mean, Microsoft and Google are two different type of women, and the private sector and the public sector are two different type of guys.
Oh my God, it's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the place, right? But yeah, I mean, so like, I mean, girl A, Microsoft is trying to be for the enterprise, but at the same time, they trying to be for, all the people out there, all the regular people out there, because,
Right.
they still buy their computers. But then, it's this other girl, Google, coming around. She giving it away. Yeah, I mean, she giving it away. Yeah, she giving the internet away. Yeah, I mean, all the people love it. All the regular, public people love it. I mean, but this private like elitist dude over here kind of like, I don't really know if I want to deal with her. She kind of giving her stuff at everybody.
Yeah,
but at the same time, yeah, I mean, but I hear it's great. Yeah, I mean, I hear it's good. Yeah, I mean, the web, that browser, that Chrome browser. Yeah, I mean, this is luscious. But like, it's like the back and forth. They try to come out with a new version of Outlook. They got Outlook, and then Google tries to come out with Gmail, and they crossing paths. Sometimes they got the enterprise sector. Sometimes they got the public sector. So it's a weird mashup for real. Like how they cross paths a lot. Like the only things that they probably don't really cross paths on is like advertising and like video games. So like Microsoft got the video game market locked, and Google got the advertisement realm locked for real. And that's probably like the only two sectors that where they really just sort of separate out. Besides, science, because even the back end science stuff that they do, like, Google is known for science stuff, but Microsoft is all over science stuff. Yeah, so like the deep realms of that stuff. So like they've always crossed paths, but this article in particular is just making sure for a while they weren't lobbying each other. They weren't going to Congress, putting money up to fight each other, but now it's basically over. They had like a handshake agreement, Sundar Pichai and Satya Nadella. I mean, they coming in like, we're two natively Indian guys, not like Native American Indian, but Indian from India.
Indian.
Yeah, I mean, Indian. I mean, we're two Indian guys that took over these two American companies. Let's not fight each other for right now. Let's try
any usual case, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's Indian guys. We just come over and take over America. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like they climbed that ladder quick, and like, I mean, they tried to have a peace for a minute. Being who they are. I mean, but I don't think Satya Nadella. When it comes to the two, Satya Nadella to me is more of the competitive type. I mean, like he's the one that's going to really push the agenda.
That's true.
Sundar Pichai, he's kind of like strategically smart. Like he's going to take somebody out, but it's going to be like a chess move of like 5 or 7 steps. I mean, and
Sundar Pichai is more of like the, like laid back. He's the thing. He doesn't like to be competitive, but he just knows how to be when he needs to.
Right.
He's not like the brat, all up in your face. I'm ready for war. But he he knows how to shoot. That's all.
Sundar Pichai will throw on some 21 Savage and be like, "Yo, I'm ready." Yeah, like if it meant coming down to if it was Microsoft or Google, Satya Nadella will fight for that. Yeah, man, he's fighting for his. But now that this truce is over, I mean, now that they can lobby against each other, they can pull these games. That's the real tricky part, is the games are lobbying and putting politics in the middle of it. So now you got these regulations coming into play and all of this stuff that prevents one company from making money while the other one, comes around.
Okay, so,
and that's a game that's even trickier than just regular competitiveness of the business, because they dealing with the laws.
So they throwing the laws in there.
Yeah, and they start doing local level stuff and international. They start competing with other countries and whatnot. Say Microsoft is doing business in China, but Google's not right now. So like,
they're trying to get Microsoft. They're trying to get them Huawei bucks.
Right, exactly. Because they know that they can, and they know it's worth it. Yeah, man. And that's what this article goes into. Like I said, we'll go over it. We'll send the links to you so you can see it. You'll just see it on the comments below. So let's go to the next article. We ain't going to stress too much on that one. Next article that we have is Google is phasing out the Android Auto app, but the alternative is good. I haven't used the Android Auto app at all, so I can't tell you whether the other one was good or the other was bad. Like the way I use smart devices in my car, I just hook it up through the auxiliary cord, and if it don't work that way, then I'm just not listening to anything right now. Like,
facts though, yeah. I don't do the whole the Bluetooth. Yeah, listen, it's just something about that. Maybe because we old school like that. We know we got the aux cord. That was like the thing back then. Like whoever has the aux cord controls the car pretty much. So
it changed the whole dynamic. Like, now I can do anything. Now my car is a smart car. Why do I need to put a computer in the car? My car is hooked up.
Why I need AR in my car?
I just needed better speakers. I can see on my phone. I just needed better speakers. I mean, and like the car gave me exactly what I need. I didn't need a computer in my car per se, unless the computer was the car. Like, if it was on some Tesla level stuff. But like just having an addition of having the computer in the dashboard, it never really made too much sense to me because you still need to have the internet. And I'm not going to pay for like 5G on my car. I have like a 5G antenna on my car, 4G just on my car. I just got it on my phone. I'll just use the internet off my phone. So if I'm going to stream something, I'm not going to have 4G on my dash. Where I got to hook that up to download Spotify. I'm just going to stream off my phone. And I got to have an aux cord. I got to have an aux cord for it.
They try to throw in all this extra stuff, man. I don't need to have VR, my Kia, Like,
exactly.
Just give me the little cord, man. Then I have to look. The computer's right here. This joint right here.
It's the middle ground. It's the middle ground that be setting me. Like, I'm not for the halfway technology. Like we still taking them minor steps until they got a reason to put a full on computer in that car. Whereas it's on the level of, like I said, the Tesla, where damn near the wheels are controlled by a computer. So like, it needs to be at that level. And if it's not on that level, I don't really care about having a computer in the car because I just give me some good speakers. Give me some speakers that don't blow, and then I'm good. You can save all that $2,000 that they put on the dash cam or on the dashboard and just put it into some better speakers.
That's what it is. You be like, if I can't sit in my car and then the seat lift up and then I fly to my location from there, right? You just trying to get me. That's all. You trying to get me $2. I don't.
It's a gimmick trick. At that point, you give me this like them dashboard computers be like $500, $600, $700. It'd be too much just for, and then it makes it like $2,000 because they got to enclose it and make the design to make it look like that and put the camera, the touch screen on. I already got that on my phone. I don't need any of that. I'll get a tablet. Just give me a place to put the auxiliary cord and to sit my tablet.
Right. Hands-free device.
Give me a little stand area. Wherever you was gonna put that dash, just put a stand there. Put that there so I can put my cell phone, my tablet right there. Hook it up with the aux cord. Good to go. I don't need radio. I don't need no CD player. I don't need XM. XM is right. Like, I don't know how they selling cars with XM. That just hurt me. Like, it's an app. It's an app. I don't know nobody use it off the satellite. They just go through the internet. The satellite goes to some ISP and Verizon or something. It come turn into the app software over the internet.
Yo, it's funny you say that. Like my girl over the weekend, because she has like free XM till like January, and we had XM in the car too, but that joint ran out, so we was trying to find a way. You know what I'm saying? Like we can transfer it over to the car. They're like, nah, you gotta have a whole new account. I'm like, yo, just plug the joint up and just plug it up and just play XM through the aux cord. Like it's the same thing. Like
exactly.
It's just that's a level of redundancy that's just not needed. Like it doesn't do.
Exactly.
Don't need
so
that,
they
man.
could sell it, and they put that shit in a position where it's like they were just like, if we just don't make any of these cars anymore, where all the cars got these damn dashes in them, the iOS dash, the Apple, the Android dash, they just got to buy them because we ain't got no other type of car. You know what I mean? So like that's what they got to buy. So they just put them in all the cars, and all the dashes are shitty anyway. Like I know they do have these new functionalities where you actually use it through USB and you can hook up your phone and it'll match or synchronize to be your phone screen on there. That's all right to a point. But it still got to allow you to like do the same things. So like they got these interfaces where it'd be like, it's not really your phone interface. It's just some of the apps that match up. You know what I mean? Like if Spotify works on this interface and you have Spotify on your phone, then it'll do the synchronization. No, I want the same exact apps that's on my phone on this screen. If you're going to give me the screen, give me the screen I use. Give me the screen I use. Yeah, I mean, and that's been a big problem. I ain't never go this route because I'm like, yo, I ain't feeling none of these. I'm waiting till everybody gets standardized on real technology, not this made up stuff.
And on the real, I'll say this, like about the aux card, you going back to, I felt because of how, there are some things like some legacy stuff that's just like you can't get away from. Like I don't care how modern the car get, how like I have yet to be in the car past like 2010 that doesn't have an aux cord. Like it's just that you gotta have that. Like it's just, and it's like the defeats the purpose of so many things because it's like if you know that that's like a necessity, like you can't get away from the aux cord setup. Like no matter how much you try to finesse it, like you gotta have that as the fallback point. It's like, what's the point of even including anything? Like if it's going to be,
it's Bluetooth. I just forgot. I just remembered because I got this damn iPhone. I don't even know why I forget. It got to be Bluetooth because I mean I got both of these phones here. I mean I got this old Android that I use, and then I got this iPhone that is like my main phone. This one, the Android got the auxiliary cord. The iPhone don't have an auxiliary cord because they don't make them no more. All the auxiliary cords gone. All the plugs gone. The 3.5 millimeter jack, they getting rid of them all. So now you got to use Bluetooth if you got that option. And then the other option is if you got the actual USB hookup. They don't even make it no more. That's a goddamn shame.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, even on iPhone now, like they don't make with that. So you gotta have you have to decide on either charging your phone or then listening to music because the port still is used for the same thing. Or you gotta get the splitter, but then the split, Apple, they make it where as though it breaks so it never stays.
And what was that Chrysler app where you had to have like Uconnect or something? You gotta have like Uconnect, you gotta have a Uconnect app on your phone so that you can use your car dashboard to Uconnect stuff on the dashboard. Like like the bad decisions with that stuff makes you not even want to get the car half the time. Like they trying to sell you the car, then they do something bad with the technology. You be like, yo, I don't even want the car. Give me an old like 1990 something. As long as it's still run, it got less than 100,000 miles or some shit. All right, let's go. I mean, give me a Chrysler. Give me an old Crown Vic.
Take it back.
Take it back. Next. Let's go to this next topic. Next topic that we have is about Google takes giant step toward powering blockchain-based Web3. Blockchain, man. I'm a little hot in here. It's blockchain everywhere, man. Blockchain is taking over the world slowly but surely.
Blockchain is the new way of life. So it is.
Yeah. Like the way I heard about blockchain was through like right before. Well, I didn't know that they were the same things. Like I heard about Bitcoin and crypto, and then I heard about decentralized apps, um, where there is no server. Everybody is peer to peer. Yeah, I mean, so if you got an app, I'm the server and the client. Yeah, I mean, so like, and all of that is managed through blockchain. And that allow you to have a decentralized app because they were talking about all the security, Facebook getting hacked, Google getting hacked, all these people getting hacked. All the data is on their servers. How can we create a new internet where everything is, thinking this is Web3. So, where everything is just decentralized, where I have direct communication with you, you got direct communication with me. Anything that I share, and they were talking about this with like social media in particular. So like any file that I share, anything that I post online, you technically got to access my drive, my phone, my device to even see that stuff. So I may post it, but it's posting on my phone and I'm giving you access to it. And it's a way that you are able to pull that back because of this whole blockchain thing. Everything got a ledger, everything got a number assigned to it, similar to how we doing the coin transactions, where every coin, every dollar spent has a reference to it in this blockchain ledger. Unique. Yeah. Everything that's done online is basically unique. And
that's the whole NFT game and how that's really taken over. So I didn't think that we would reach a point where so the internet in itself has gone through different waves. You know what I mean? It came on where it was like closed. It was closed circuit, and then with the development of further, as things started to develop, it started to open up more. You feel what I'm saying? Where people started to be able to put their own, a lot of people be able to put their information out there. That came in that wave of the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, and then things picked back up when it came to the social media age, right? Where things started booming with that. And to some degree, how it was structured, and I think this kind of controlled how the internet was pretty much like the flow of the internet, where it went into a phase where things were a little bit more closed circuit again. You got to have your profiles that's reserved for these type of folks, and you have these type of interactions with them. Although it be open, it's open circuit, you still have a sense of uniqueness or privacy, right? And then now with the development of social media, it's the different platforms, it got to a point where it was open. Now we're in the phase where when blockchain hit, and then all the NFTs started, but now it's becoming definitely you're starting to see closed circuit things on the World Wide Web, which kind of changed the game because we're entering into that phase of where that futuristic. So how they talk about on the movies, how it's in the future you have certain sectors where you got to have certain access codes or something going on that's unique to you that connects you to these folks, although it's within a public area. And that's kind of where we at with this the blockchain and the NFT game, because now you what you're saying, people are given access to certain things, but it's on a certain device, but you got to have a certain key to be able to get into that device. It's starting to really, so you can see that there's waves that this thing is going in. I think that's why they call it Web 3.0, because we enter into this phase where now it's all about you're starting to have your certain congregations on the internet that are reserved for different things. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. And the fact that Google, they saying that somehow that Google is kind of positioning themselves as far as on the developer side, of course, with how Google thinks everything is kind of open source anyway, right? But now that they've I forgot the name of the company they acquired or started working with, but the company was kind of
Dapper Labs.
Yeah, Dapper Labs. They were kind of leading the charge. Had a lot. I think they were fourth best when it came to just NFTs and things like that. But Google, of course, took the opportunity as any juggernaut company would and say, all right, well, we want to start working with these guys. And now that I would say certainly if they haven't been acquired by Alphabet, they will be soon enough that that they start working with them. Now that Google is is positioning themselves to be the leader when it comes to the blockchain. So it's just I think it's dope, because it's starting to show that like how, at one point some people they thought that the internet, like the web, was going to reach a like it reached this pinnacle. You know what I mean? Like you said, everything was kind of open up, and now that we're able to have these closed circuits, now you're starting to see us like going back into like that development stage of like what's the next big thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. I mean, and the way they make it, we won't really see it all happening. Like, if you're in the know, you'll follow it and know that it's happening. But, because of user experience and all that stuff, it'll be like magic. It's just a new app. You don't really need to know how it works. But like it's becoming to a point because it'll follow the protocols and stuff where it's like it'll be a whole new version of the web. It can't cross over to the old version of the web. So because the old version of the web follows older rules, which cause all these security problems with everything being open to the public or publicly accessible. So it's going to have to follow this new model. I like to see it happen. I remember really getting into this, wanting to be into it because of the fact that just that whole social network idea where because one of the main things was like, if somebody had a picture of you, you posted a picture, but you wanted somebody to not have that picture, you could literally decline them from actually getting access to that picture, even if they had like a way to screen share it or something like that to take a copy of it. If they build the machine to only do certain things in certain ways, then things like screen shares won't happen. So like when I try to screen share, like I try to take a snapshot of a funny scene in a movie or something, like if I'm watching Amazon Prime or HBO on my phone, try to take a screenshot, you got DMR or DRM. The digital rights management. So like the only thing you get is a blank screen.
Yeah,
like you can't that funny moment, you can't get it because it's a blank screen. So I gotta go on like YouTube because that's a public space. Gotta go to YouTube and get the screenshot.
Take a picture of the phone.
yeah, exactly. Because you can't get the real thing.
And we're reaching a point where it's going to be like, I was just thinking to myself. So what's interesting about that, man, is where we at right now on the internet. We got the the dark web and the deep web where it's certain, you have to have certain things in place because of how I want to say maybe deregulated is the word for it. How deregulated it is. You got to have the certain things in place so you don't mess around and get into a space where you're wide open. So you have that sense of like I won't call it privacy, but maybe like that hidden factor, if you will, like even now, right? Many people don't know that for all the web pages that you see, that's only about 5%, I think, of what's actually available on the internet. Like, so many people many people don't know that. But the thing is, what's happening is that you have this like that same dichotomy. It's like it's starting to transition to where now things are moving to a space where you're having the most publicly private things, right? Like that it's widely advertised that over here we do X, Y, and Z, but you can't get access unless you have maybe for instance like when you're trying to say, for instance, you're trying to take a screenshot of like one of these funny moments or something like that on the internet, like when you're streaming something. In order for you to be able to take that screenshot, you got to have not just like pay in, but you got to have this NFT on your phone that's recognizable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's where it's like,
and it'll require them building all the things around it. Like, like right now, if iOS can't support it in the same way, Android can't support it, Windows can't support it. The operating system got to also support it. Yeah, I mean, because if you can hack it around it with the operating system, then all this code don't mean nothing. I mean, like, right. So like, I mean, the operating system will have to be like, yeah, we following Web 3.0 protocols. So whatever you tried to just do with your screen copy, with your snapshot, that just won't work. I mean, like because the system, the main thing that runs your computer just won't allow it. Like it's a lot of potential in it. It's going to take like maybe another 10 years. Like this won't be till like 2030's internet. But it will be kind of crazy because at the same time, yeah, like it'll be good for safe spaces. Like, you have your own forum, but it'll be a decentralized internet, even more so than what we consider to be today. We could technically create our own silos, but most of the time we just store stuff on Google, store stuff on Amazon's, store stuff on Microsoft, on Apple and stuff like that. But when you think like 10 years in the future, all the space and storage that we have is going to be like 100x more.
Yeah, like it's gonna pale in comparison. You remember we used to try to, make that thing stretch out the little floppy
for like 10 gigs.
The floppy disk that had 256
megs on it. Like now that's one album.
Right. I'm saying that's a couple pictures now. You know what I mean?
So,
it makes the thing that was interesting about it. You remember why it makes sense that Google's making this move too. And how this represents like where we're going with like Web 3.0. Because remember they said way back when they were trying to get into opening up accounts and doing file transactions with cryptocurrencies. You know what I mean? So that just goes into the everything when it comes to opening. It just expands your mind on what actually what's possible when it comes to people who like are on the blockchain, what that actually represents and what that's going to be about. Like I noticed in the article down here, I read a little bit, which is I think it's pretty dope. It's almost at the end. It says in the third era, talking about Web 3.0, in the third era of the internet, following its first iteration of Web 0.0, which is defined by simple static web pages.
Yeah.
And the next page, otherwise known as Web 2.0, which is the dominant user-generated content of social media. Web 3.0 is going to open up the floodgates to decentralized networks and new methods of communication and commerce, which those last two words, I think, is what's really like the defining point. You think about with Google, and they already, when it comes to communication and commerce, you can say that from at least an internet standpoint, they are ones leading the charge, be it that they're known for their search engines. Their search engine, how powerful it is, and how they've just dominated what search is on the internet. And then two, with commerce, they make their money off of advertising, right? So, the marketing and the divvying out of information. So, with them actually jumping head on into this, it's like, I don't know, they with a lot of the issues that they've had with like the EU and stuff. I don't know. It seems like they just kind of moving full force ahead with this, because I think if no one else, of course they talk about in here, they kind of stepping on Amazon's feet with this. And I know with Microsoft, they're still trying to get a hold on it with Azure or Azure. I don't like to say Azure, that word weird to me. But Google's definitely I feel like they just, regardless of all the stuff that's happening in like the periphery, they're still moving forward. And I think they jumped into a space that's actually very similar, it's very parallel to what they already have been about, which is communication and commerce. So, yeah, man, it's pretty dope.
Yeah. It's going to be a change. It's going to be a sea change. Google is the type of company that tends to work in this space where they'll make something for the common good of society, and everybody will use it, type thing. Like this Web 3.0 stuff isn't going to be Google's. It's going to be everybody's to use.
Yeah.
And Google will just reap the benefits of being one of the first companies to work with it.
Pioneers.
Get it up there. But yeah. That's just what they usually tend to do with this stuff. If they can't make no direct money on it, then they just work on the back end. Got a couple more articles, like 3 more articles. Next to the last article that we have is let's get this ad out the way, man. Why this ad right here right now? It's about Verizon,
man. It's right.
It's about Verizon. It says something about Verizon. I'll go back to it. It says they're not popping. All Verizon Android phones will support RCS messaging by 2022. This has been going on for a while.
The supposed iMessage killer. Go ahead.
Yeah, the supposed iMessage killer. So iMessage is like iPhone's proprietary way to deal with messaging that also integrates with SMS and MMS. but it's really only iPhones that really gets like the full benefit of like the future features of like messaging each other, which is, we already kind of get this stuff now with like, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp. Those apps compete with iMessenger, and like Facebook competes with Apple solely because of messaging. It's their main thing. Like they don't really have nothing else to compete with but that private messaging service. But like RCS is supposed to be like the general public's alternative. It's supposed to be the one that is for everybody to use, similar to what SMS and MMS has been. Like no matter whether you have the old, dial phone, cell phones where you could take old text messages with the T9, T9 keyboard. Yeah, man. Or you have
I keep hitting the button, the ABC.
A B C E D E F. Yeah, man. Like whether you got that technology or anything else, the RCS is supposed to be like that level where it's the standard for the open communication market. And RCS means Rich Communication Services, and it's basically supposed to give you the iMessage functionality for just everybody else that needs a text messaging service. I mean, so like you're able to have like group chats. You're able to have like, audio text being sent, video, like one of the worst things is trying to send a picture back and forth to somebody on an Android phone when they got iMessages. Like, because you're going to get the downgraded version and it's going to look like your picture, your camera is from like 2001. I mean, like,
yeah, a flip phone camera on that.
Yeah, like you just took this thing with like a 12 megapixels set camera. I got this double thing in my ear. I got like feedback, and it's hard for me to hear myself. It's kind of funny, but like, you might have this like 22 megapixel camera. You took this picture, but you try to text it to somebody, and then it looked like 360p or some shit. It looked like an old CRT black and white or something like. Yeah, like it don't make sense how that happens, and it really happens because all the downgrading that has to happen to work on MMS, and iMessages says, well, if you ain't got iMessages, then we don't care. I mean, like if you ain't got iMessages, then it don't matter. Where RCS is supposed to be the new standard, even though this article says that he's starting off with like T-Mobile and AT&T. And Verizon in particular, the article was talking about how Verizon is jumping in, but T-Mobile and AT&T already are in plans to support this. So by 2022, 2023, all our messaging problems should be resolved. But I've been hearing about goddamn RCS since 2013, and ain't shit changed since.
I was just about to ask you, dude, like out of all this, do you feel like personally, my humble but honest opinion is I feel like ain't nothing really gonna change, man. That's just me. But like, how do you feel about
it's because it's the open market, man. Because open networks. I mean, like everybody that got a network got to comply. I mean, whereas with this Apple, they got their one network, and as long as you got an Apple phone, you on their network, and they make the decision. When you got these open networks with these open technologies and everybody trying to like AT&T and Verizon's technologies aren't the same, but they got to make their stuff work together. When you're dealing with these open standards and you got to try to match them up, everybody got to play their part. And that's what usually take the longest is that, T-Mobile don't want to do it or Verizon don't want to do it. First, they want to come out with their own version. Like, can we come out with it? And it'd be ours. Like, we came up with the way to figure it out and how to do it better, but they don't know how to fix it. Like Google is a company that solely focuses on making these types of improvements, but the thing that they scared of, that Verizon and AT&T and all these companies are scared of initially, was that if Google got the network and they created the protocol, then Google won't get all the data.
I mean, they already have all the. I mean, I get it. I get.
Yeah.
They already got all the data.
All the phones are already Android. I mean, they got all the phones that's on the networks. So like they got all the data. But in this case, in this scenario, because RCS is open technology, T-Mobile can build their servers, their text messages servers to work with RCS to manage RCS. AT&T can build their networks to manage RCS. Verizon can build theirs to manage RCS, and it gives them their power back, which is the main thing. Similar to what we're talking about with this Web3, Google's just creating a protocol and giving it away to everybody else to set up. And it's like the same thing with this RCS.
That's crazy, because if you think about, like, do you think there's a way that like they're trying to connect like the RCS with like the what they're doing with the blockchain, like with NFT? But I was connect that. That's actually interesting.
I mean, in a lot of ways, because I mean they're talking about the encryption here, like with RCS. I don't know as much because it seems like they still got to have like some back end server somewhere that is managing like storage of messages, because that's one thing with telephone service for text messaging. If your phone go out or come back, you still got to be able to get that text message, which means they got to be sitting somewhere, saved somewhere. Whereas like the blockchain protocol,
trying to listen, shut down, got to get all of them.
I mean, it gotta be sitting somewhere. Like the blockchain stuff a little bit different, just because it's supposed to be just communication between A and B. The only thing that the blockchain know of is that communication happened. They don't know what happened, and they don't know what transacted. They don't know nothing about the files that got sent between A and B. They just know that they communicated at some point. And that's about as limited as the blockchain is supposed to be, is that they connected. These people connected. What happened is between them. I mean, that's why it should be different for RCS. It'll make it more secure because, like you said, text messaging isn't secure. It's mostly in plain text. I mean, it's a text file for the most part. Whereas now it should be encrypted. I think they do talk about being able to do stuff over like your Wi-Fi and stuff like that, so that if you don't have a telephone connection, you can still do the text messaging through RCS and stuff like that.
I mean, that's what I already said, that it's going to take some, like how we, and this may actually go into why they are scared to get in bed with Google, like the telephone companies, is because we already are in a space where we're having communication with each other, without the need of a telephone service, you know what I mean? Like a service provider, you know what I mean? So it may get to the point where, Google start jumping in everybody's bag, and then they make a move where it's like, you know what, we're going to make this deregulated, where if you got a Google number, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you get access to this, and then boom, like then Verizon is done. AT&T, Sprint, because that's all
they still partnered with them. They still got Google Fi.
Yeah, and the thing is with these, what we don't actually think about is that with these telephone companies, like they actually still are archaic. You know what I mean? Like we talking back and forth, like you and I, the same type of convo like we having between you and I, we can do on our phones. We can cut out the video, you know what I mean? As long as we have a Wi-Fi, you know what I mean? So boom, it makes sense why like a Xfinity will get into like Wi-Fi and like the internet and stuff, because they know that if you connect it to the internet, it's that's like what the next move is. I mean, it could be why a lot of these telephone companies are, these service providers are slow on their feet, because they know it's just, and we're going to meet that inevitable end of their business model being obsolete and being done for.
Yeah.
So how do they get that transition?
And it's been a long time coming. They've been trying to block it for a while. I mean, ever since the internet basically started. Like they were like, "Oh, you can watch movie. Oh no, you can't be watching stuff over the y'all making calls over the internet. No, y'all cannot be doing calls over the video chat. We don't even do that, but y'all can't be doing that." Right. like they've been doing so much, like everything that used to be like a one service thing over the wire, since the internet came out and allowed you to just do it directly through the internet. It's been killing all these old companies. Comcast ain't even Comcast anymore.
Exactly.
All these companies, like they keep buying up media companies because they like media is where the advertisements is. Like if I can't send you advertisements over your cable service, I got to put it on a website somewhere. And like that's why Verizon keep buying AOL and Yahoo, because they need to.
And you think about how with the whole RCS game, like if they really open it up, they can start, because of how it works with the type of, I guess, multimedia, like how it would be, they could possibly start advertising straight through text message
and
on an elaborate way.
Something like RCS could kill the potential needs of things like WhatsApp and Messenger and iMessages, because it's just standard now. It's just part of what we get. I mean, when we get a cell phone, it's just, we got fully functional video capability in our chat services and our phone services. I mean, and it would kill what is a whole big business right now. Let's go to these last two. It's one article basically, but it's two articles, but it's basically the same topic. First topic is about Microsoft's or Facebook, not Microsoft. Facebook's smart glasses can take calls and photos, but they lack AR. And I'm gonna combine it with this article about Xiaomi and how they unveiled this smart glasses that claims to be able to be a smartphone killer, or replace the smartphone essentially. First is this Facebook camera. The big deal with it is that, it's not the technology, it's the manufacturers who's making these camera glasses. Ray-Bans, which is, I never actually had a Ray-Bans. I barely ever seen them anywhere, but I hear about them all the time. So they obviously gotta be popular. And this company, Facebook, partnered up with Ray-Bans to create these alternatives. If you've seen a while ago, like Snapchat came out with these glasses. They call them like the Snapchat glasses or whatever. Snap glasses. I don't know. But yeah, they basically let you. There were two cameras, one over each eye, like at the corner where the glasses fold for the the handlebars. I don't have glasses. I don't know what you call them, the handlebars. But right there on each side, you had two cameras. It would turn into one essentially. It would focus in as one view, similar to your eyes, and you could basically record your stories through that. It was like Snapchat story cameras or whatever. And basically that's what they called these for the most part. I swear up and down, I heard them call them, or I seen Mark Zuckerberg in a commercial when he was talking about it. He called them like the Facebook story glasses, which is basically the same thing.
As much as I feel like Mark Zuckerberg, he's made brilliant moves, he's still a goofball, come up with a different name, bro. That just sound mad corny, man. Just call it I don't know. Shit,
I mean,
not the Facebook story glasses. Like,
I think he's just looking for. I don't even think it's really him. I think he just knows it's a good money grab right quick. Like these glasses, besides Ray-Bans, the brand name of Ray-Bans and how much they're going to usually charge for Ray-Bans, the glasses themselves, they got Bluetooth in it. They got Wi-Fi in it, and they got a little bit of a battery, a little bit of camera. I don't even see if it say how clear the camera is, but all of that stuff that's in there, maybe like $40-$50 worth of technology. It's cheap. Matter of fact, it says dual 5 megapixel camera, so 5 megapixel on each side, and it's cheap to make, but they can make a lot out of it. Yeah, man, they can turn this into $1 billion business. Yeah, man, they can, because it's Facebook. Yeah. All it takes is Facebook. All it takes is two things for it to be accessible on iOS. Because not iOS, on Instagram. Because right now it doesn't say that it's one that is capable of Instagram. It just says Facebook, but they coming to Instagram because that's the whole point.
Facebook, Instagram is Facebook pretty much.
Yeah, like Instagram is Facebook light. basically. Like,
I like that Facebook light.
I mean, it's more media, less commentary. I mean, and like less words for the most part. But like, if they can get this thing working with iOS, which is probably all, I keep saying iOS, with Instagram, which is already in the plans, then the next step is just make sure like Kim Kardashian got a pair. I mean, once she record and do a couple things with it, show how fun it is. I mean, it's on everybody's Christmas gift list, on their birthday list, on their
let me get
Valentine's
the Kim Kardashian
Day
glasses. They ain't even about the Facebook story.
I need these Ray-Bans. I mean, I need these Ray-Bans. Don't nobody care. They ain't gonna care that they Facebook Ray-Bans. They just Ray-Bans. I mean, that just work with Facebook. It's gonna become the standard thing. And the way that they look is pretty dope because it don't look like glasses too much. I mean, it don't look like a piece of technology too much. I mean, when I say that, that's by comparison because it still look like tech. Yeah, I mean, look, they some bulky ass glasses on your head.
You can pass, you know what I mean, if you got like a Scully on or something. I
mean, if you wearing this on the block, you might get shot.
You're gonna get jumped for real.
Like, I mean, you're gonna get jumped. Somebody think you a fed. They be like, yo,
that's
you recording?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like, if you don't be like, nah, son, these the Ray-Ban Facebooks, baby. You live, baby.
Dude, man.
I mean, like,
you done, man.
But like, it really, the only thing that's going to need for this is like, they say that it lacks AR. Nobody really cares about AR right now because AR isn't really where it needs to be. The tech isn't here for it yet. And when I say that, I jump into this Xiaomi article about how they have their smart glasses, and these smart glasses have all the same functionality, but they also have a little bit of AR in there. They got a little piece of glass on one of their lenses where maybe like 50-60% of the lens is dedicated to this micro LED. And it shows in green. It's not really clear. I might show a little stint of this real quick. It's not really clear about how good it looks. Like they don't really show that too much. I'm gonna mute this. I'm gonna mute this right here. And if I blast that full screen, can they see that? Yeah. So if I do that, you see that little lens right there. That's all I wanted to see. That little lens right there. Yeah, I mean, so that little lens right there. That's all. I mean, that lets you see something in AR. I mean, lets you see something that's further out. And to me, that's not AR. That's a lens on my face.
That's all it is. Yeah.
I mean, that's not augmented reality.
AR, I think honestly, in my humble honest opinion, is that we don't necessarily like to achieve AR is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I believe is that AR is harder to accomplish than VR because VR you create the landscape with. AR you actually take the landscape in front of you and then place things on top of it based off many different calculations. So, I mean, I think that there's a lot of people who are saying AR, but it's not really AR like in this like complete definition, like what it actually is. And like you said, I mean, we at a stage where having something like that as powerful like that it's very hard to find its uses for it. The only time I can think about maybe having AR where it's like definitely has its uses is like military things. Truly, like that's probably the only thing. As far as like everyday life, though, I mean, like if you to put that in a why would someone need that just walking down the street to 7-Eleven?
Yeah,
they don't need that.
Yeah,
you know
like so like I said, the Sony Snapchat had their glasses, and all they do is take pictures, take video, lets you stream to whatever streaming service, lets you go live essentially. Amazon got the Echo version of the glasses that allows you to have Echo in your ear, Alexa in your ear, so you can actually ask questions like that. Nothing really else. It's just Alexa in your ear, right with your glasses. The Facebook one lets you do a little bit of both. We got the cameras, and they got their version of an assistant. It's like Portal something or another. Facebook's assistant. it's not really popular, but I guess it works for people. I'm sure it gets the job done in some instances. It's sort of like Siri, so it's good enough. Xiaomi, they don't really have an assistant. They probably won't even sell this in America for one.
Yeah.
So Google, Amazon, all these assistants aren't even going to be working with it. But two, like the augmented reality functionality, China is one of them companies that, China, well, I'll say Asia, just generalized Asia. I mean, they usually come with this technology where they do a lot of gimmick tech. I mean, a lot of tech that's just like one use purpose tech, like weird ass like watches or like a tech to massage your hand or some shit.
But it has no like practical use in like the everyday person's life.
Yeah. So I could see it selling in there because they just be like, I could see somebody called me. Yeah. I mean, I could see somebody. I could see. All right, take a picture. Quick, take a picture. Read a quick email. Stuff like that is stuff that they'll do. For America, we need like 20 features. I mean, like it need to be able to play the music, record. It need to have like 10 hours of battery life.
I need to make my own NFTs on it and be able to transfer them back and forth. And
it need to calculate my heart rate. Yeah, man. It need to do all these things before it's really a viable option. The whole idea of AR, in general, like you said, you got to be able to scan the world. And that's one thing that Facebook is probably testing because they got 2 cameras on there. So both cameras on there allows you to see in a 3D world, just like we see in our human life. I mean, so using that same tech of having the Q cameras, it allow you to see in 3D space. And they already have that technology from the Oculus. They use that technology in this headset to start scanning the world and figure out how to potentially bring in AR when it's time. I mean, but for AR to really work, you really need to have that lens in both eyes because both eyes need to be able to see, and you need to be able to put something out in 3D space.
You be able to calculate that.
Yeah. So you gotta calculate each eye, and you gotta be able to put that in space. So the camera has to be able to calculate how far something is away to be able to put it on the screens, both screens together, synchronized in some space somewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, when you hear that stuff, like, do you really, like, how far do you feel like AR is, with the demands as well as what it takes? Like, how far you really think it's away? Like,
I was gonna say another 10 years. The fact that Xiaomi showed that they could put it on some glass, even though it's all green. They can at least put it on glass. I mean, so give me 2 lenses like that, even if it's not like the full lens, because you saw how much of the lens space it took. It only took like maybe 50% or so, just like a circle in the middle. I mean, but give me 2 of those. You can start placing some stuff out in space. It'll be green. Yeah, I mean, so like that's a problem. It probably won't be HD. So that's a problem. Yeah, man. So like it'll probably be like another 10, 15 years to actually get something that's like at least 1080p in both eyes out in the distance. Yeah, I mean, like, and then let it last longer than 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, and I still gotta play my music.
Because from there, that's the other thing too, is that you think about not only just what it takes to calculate that, but then like the memory, like, and the storage constraints with that. Because let's say you go down the street. That's why the whole, like, the Pokemon Go game was interesting to me, because I feel like it was a snapshot of it, but then it wasn't like in real. Some things looked a little janky. Of course, like the it wasn't like the fans you were looking for a Charmander. They were actually on the ground. Like they didn't show it, like diametrically, like, aligned with.
That's because most of the cameras only had one lens. It was like, yo, I can't see nothing in 3D anyway. Yeah. So like, but that's the thing. Like that was just a precursor. It's like, because it's a lot of the other stuff that needs to be worked out. Like they need to get the servers set up. Yeah, I mean, so that they can map the world, get it in 3D. Like the GPS part of it worked no problem. I mean, but if you actually try to look at your Pokemon through your phone, then that ain't. I mean, that ain't where it's at yet. But like as this time comes, you see every iPhone that comes out from now on got 2 cameras. I mean, so it can see in AR space. That's how it's going to happen with all these Androids, unless you want a cheap Android with one camera. You're going to get one with two because it allows you to see in space. And as we get with these things, the glasses, like the main thing I think is going to really happen is that the cloud is going to take over a little bit. These phones are going to get stronger. Things like Bluetooth is going to be Bluetooth 5. Well, Bluetooth 5 is here. Bluetooth 6, Bluetooth 7, Bluetooth 8, so that it can communicate with the glasses faster, so that you don't have to have all the computer on the glasses. You just need to be able to talk to the phone or be able to talk to the cloud. The cloud do most of the processing, and then it come back to you in almost instantaneous. Yeah, I mean, if you got hooked up to 5G, all this stuff, when you really get all this stuff connected really fast, where a data center seem like it's 3 feet away from you, then you can start really having these weird futures that we talk about. It just you gotta have processing power, and that's the thing. It ain't here, and you gotta have the hardware. It ain't here. We just got the lenses, so. Yeah. When you get 2 of them in color, in Technicolor, 16 million colors, then you probably see some real AR, but that's like 2035 for real. Something like this that Xiaomi got, it probably costs $2,000. I mean, and
it's janky.
And it's janky. Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. It's what it is. Just like that Google Glass, $1,400. This shit sitting on people fucking shelves now. Ain't nobody. Wearing them shits. But I mean, it is what it is. We gotta have people putting in money to, make this. Somebody gotta spark the fire. Right. But yeah, man. I think that's it, man. Those are the topics for real. If y'all like the show, you know what to do. Go ahead and press the subscribe button, like button, do all the disclaimer stuff.
Yeah, do all that. All the stuff, man. You
don't read the fine print.
It's like like us on Facebook. Pause, leave your comments below and all that stuff like that, man. And with all the things you need to do to stay in touch. Follow and subscribe. Y'all go ahead and do that. And of course, catch us over at Bohemia.media. Be able to get get it directly like from the stores, and we got a lot more stuff coming y'all way. So
yeah, man. Y'all take it easy out there. Y'all be safe, man. Don't let nobody stress you out. I don't want to know about no nonsense on there.
I don't know about asking you for no AR stuff neither.
Yeah. Don't put your credit card in your own trust. Y'all take it easy.
All right. Peace.